Oh man, that looks like a mugshot, doesn't it? Oh man, my hair is a mess as usual. Oh, didn't even have time to comb it out this morning. Well, what do y'all think? Let me see here. Go this way. And we go this way. Oh, my hair still looks a mess. Well, I am very sore. I am very tired. Who would have thunk that rolling on paint would be so exhausting? I still have some cutting in to do on half of the long wall, and I still have half of that long wall to put the second coat on. This wall that the TV is going to go on, that has 3 coats. Debating on whether or not to put 3 coats, a third coat on this wall and the other walls. I think the 3 coats look better. You probably can't tell in the video that there's a few spots I think that didn't quite get as good a coverage. And you can see some places. It was really hard to tell with the dark wood and the poor lighting where I needed to caulk better. And now that it's all painted this light color, I can see where there's some places where I should have caulked and I didn't. Like I knew that there was places that did not need the caulking because the joints were so tight, but there's other places where I don't know, it probably should have been caulked. But I don't think it looks that bad. I know that on the video, this kind of thing, it's probably not the best way. I mean, you can see some lines behind me. And I don't know, maybe the lines aren't such a bad thing to have. It kind of adds character. I don't know. You have to let me know what you think. So anyway, this morning, I had to avert a disaster. Just as I was getting ready to go upstairs to get ready for church, I looked out and Mr. Billy was trying to do something to a little doe that she was not old enough for him to do to her. So I had to very quickly go and make Chucky's stall kid-proof. There's one section near the back wall that was open and it allowed the goats to come and go in there as they pleased. And, I had no problem with the goats going in there if they wanted to. They did. Sometimes they did, sometimes they didn't. Most of the time they didn't. So I had 2 cutoffs from hog panels that I knew of. And that would take care of 2 spots that I knew that were an issue where kids could get through. But then there was the gate that I have to let Chucky in and out of. I was like, okay, how am I going to deal with this? So I had a heavy duty pallet. It wasn't real big, but it was heavy duty. Okay, I put that just inside where the gate opens at. And tied that with, what else? Baling string. All this stuff is tied up with baling string because it's temporary. Because once Billy is gone, not Billy, once Chucky is gone, then that's going to be completely revamped. Okay, because that's going to become a permanent goat stall, and there's going to be a milking room at the back. So I'm going to have a feed trough in there, a proper feed trough, and the goats will stay in there until I can get the goat barn completely revamped. I've got to figure out how I'm going to deal with that. Because, I want to be able to put a feed trough in there, but I want to be able to do it so that it's easier to feed them. Because I don't know if you've ever fought with a bunch of goats and their horns trying to get their feed in. It's not easy at all. I said Hidden Heights. He has a great idea for a feed trough for his goats in the barn. And I would really, really, really love to incorporate that. I can do that in the new area that I'm building for the goats. But I haven't figured out how to do that in the original goat barn. Billy, or should I say the buck barn, that needs to be cleaned out and revamped too. The biggest deal with that is the fence. I need to expand his pen, and I need it more secure. I need a better gate, one that that will not get busted up by a buck in rut. And right now, Billy is in full rut. So he's headbutting the fence. I can get him in there at night because he'll follow the food. That's two things that a guy thinks about, right? Food and one other. So if he's out with the girls all day, okay, I can usually get him back in. Now, the other night, not last night, but the night before, he was very interested in Little Miss, and he didn't want to leave her side. And so I lured her and him into his pen. And she just didn't get her regular feeding that night. One night was going to kill her. So she just had an overnighter with Billy. And anyway, so that needs to be completely redone. I'm trying to figure out my priorities here. This room is almost finished. Okay. Once I get that second coat on, and whether or not I do the third coat, I'm still debating on that. Like I said, it's not bad right now. I can live with it. But I got furniture I need to put together, and also the floor needs to be painted. I debated whether or not to bother painting it before I put the furniture up. I said, no, I really do need to paint the floor. So I think that's what I'm going to aim for tomorrow, is to paint the floor. And I just got to try and make sure that I've got no animals that are going to try and get in here. That's going to be fun. And I'll just worry about this main area here, and then I'll work my way out. The thing is, I have so much stuff in here. One thing that's not staying permanently is the bat of insulation that you guys are sitting on. So that's got to go upstairs. I got debate whether or not I have room up there. I got to figure that out. Yeah, I got so much. Oh, so I can probably hang the TV this afternoon because that goes on the wall. Now I'll get it up off the floor, and then I don't have to worry about that. I'm hoping that the case I bought for putting under the TV will fit, because I'm putting let me see if I can show you. Let me see here. This cubby hole right here, and I measured it specifically so I can put Gracie's crate in there. Okay. Because every now and then she likes her crate, and I put her heating pad in it, and with winter coming on, she likes her heating pad. Okay. So I'm hoping I can fit that bookshelf. It might go over a little bit. I don't know. I didn't measure, but I thought it looked good in the store anyway. It's like, you know what? It's going to take me forever to get a bookshelf built at the rate I'm going. And so I talked my husband into buying it because I had promised him that there would be a bookshelf under the TV for his books, for some of his books. Believe me, he's got lots and lots of books. Anyway, so I'm hoping that it'll work. And we'll see what happens from there. I'm not sure. I'm also like looking forward to hanging pictures. I have nice pictures that I've had back boxed up for 4 years, and I am looking so forward to getting them out and hanging them on the walls. Yeah, and I'll show you guys. So, anyway, so that's that. Have you guys noticed the stink bugs? Oh, I tell you, it's that time of year. I thought I wasn't really seeing a whole lot, and then all of a sudden, I pulled out a new pair of jeans to put on this morning, and it had gobs of stink bugs on it. Oh, great. So trying to deal with stink bugs. And every time I turn around, there's stink bugs. So I show them no mercy. I have a little bottle with a lid, and they go in the bottle. Because if you squish them, they stink. And I'm not squishing them. I don't like squish bugs anyway. So they go in my little bottle, and I just forget they're there. They like permanently go away. So I guess I'm not getting a whole lot of traffic today, which I don't blame you because it was really cold this morning. I don't know about where you guys are, but here when I got up this morning, it was 30 degrees. Yes, I lit a fire. And thankfully we've got lots of firewood. But it was really quite chilly this morning. And so that we had heavy frost and everything. I'm looking out. The zucchini's done. My patty pan squash is done. I probably should have picked that last one. And the tomatoes, actually, believe it or not, some of the tomato plants, they still have nice looking leaves near the bottom of the plant. Most of the taller ones, they're toast. They're gone. You can tell by looking at them. So, but it looks like there was a small cabbage that might have survived. So we'll see what happens there. Once again, the ducks got into my garden and decimated it. I got no tomatoes because once there was finally something on the vine that was looking like it might actually develop and turn red or purple, because I bought Cherokee purple tomatoes. A duck or two got in and just decimated it. I was so hot. So trying to figure out what to do for next year. I think what I need to do is I need to build cages around the beds. You know, because the cats have been getting in there, you know, and digging things up. And you know what cats like to do. It's like, great. I've even caught Gracie in there. So I think that what I'm going to have to do is just put cages around the beds. That's what I'm going to have to do. That's the only thing I can think of to keep the animals out. I had put the fence up, but I have to admit the fence wasn't very good. Okay. The electric fence managed to keep Chucky and the goats out of the garden area. Okay. So that was a success. However, it did not keep the chickens and the ducks out. I did not have enough of the plastic netting to go around the whole thing. And with everything else going on, I just didn't get to it. So needless to say, I got hardly anything out of the garden this year. The ducks enjoyed it. The chickens enjoyed it. I got hardly anything out of it. Well, I got the beds. Okay, the beds are built. They're mostly filled. Of course, next year they're going to have to be topped off. But I've got the beds. So eventually I will have a garden. Eventually. And eventually I will actually get something out of the garden. At least let's hope. Keep trying. So that's what's going on. I'm like, I figured there would be all kinds of people looking to see my walls this week, but I guess not. But they are painted. It like a huge difference between what they were and what they are now. A huge difference. It's like I don't feel like I'm in a dark hole when I come back here. It's bright. I think it's going to be a nice space once I get everything finished. I said the ceiling is going to be white, but the beams, I don't know if I'm going to make them look like a false beam, encase them in something, or just paint them, or what I'm going to do. Because they're kind of on the narrow side. There's the regular I think they're 2x6s, the ones in here. So, and I do have to put a little bit of a drop ceiling. So I got to figure that out. I haven't found what I'm going to put up there yet. I'm still looking. Hopefully I find something before too long. But in the meantime, it is what it is. And I'm going to get some kind of a molding to put up the top, a crown molding of some kind. And there's also, like, the corners aren't great. I saw this sticky corner molding on Amazon. I might try and get some of that and see how that works out. Just to kind of make the corners look a little bit better. But I don't know. It does look kind of rustic. So what I do have to do tomorrow is I do have to put on the shutoff valve for the 550-gallon tank that is empty. Because we have rain coming in on the 13th. Today's the 9th. So I got to get that I need to get at least the shutoff valve installed so that is good and tight and I won't have any leaks. That's what I'm hoping for. Get that good and tight and secure. And then I can work on burying the line after the 13th if I have to. Because I've got, I've got just this week, and then I have company coming next weekend. So I really have to get this space finished, and then I can do that. But it's going to take me a few minutes to do the shutoff valve for that tank because it's all screw in. Okay, it's no gluing, just all screw in. And when I get the line buried and get that hooked up to the tank, it's one of those kind where you just use a hose clamp, so I don't have to mess with glue. Glue is permanent, and if you screw it up, you're out all this money that you put into parts. So if I can do something in the way of the plumbing without having to mess with glue, I think that's the way I'm going to go. Having had to deal with the problem with the tank, with glue-on fixtures is like going with the PVC ball valve and stuff. That was a mistake. Screwing is better. I'm hearing little girls upset because I have them penned off from their mummies. All four of them. Nilly, no, not Nilly. Nilly's out. It's Lily and Ashley. And then the other two little girls, Mama's little girl and Coco's little girl. They're not happy because they're all put in the pen and they're all being weaned. And it's not just for that. It's also the two little girls are supposed to be going to a new home. I haven't heard back from my contact yet to see when they're going to go. But hopefully not too much longer. And once they go, then that will just leave Lily and Ashley. Nilly, I think that she may have been bred, and so she can go on to her new home. She's going to my farrier. He was supposed to take Joy, but needless to say, that didn't work out, and so he said he'd take Nilly. Um, Nilly, I think, is a good quality goat. I'm not real happy with the way her horns have developed. She's got this sweep that goes. Has they most of the horns, they go back like this, or they go off to the side. Okay, but they have the big sweep. Hers kind of go an opposite way, and I mean they still go back, but there's like a sweep upwards. Um, Instead of going down, they go up. So I guess that's all right. I said all the others, like I said, they sweep out to the side or they sweep back. My preference with the horns is I prefer them to sweep back. But the beautiful thing about them sweeping to the side is that it's really easy to rope them and secure them, because if you get the horns roped up, then they can't get away. Okay. Now the ones that sweep back, they're nice because they make great handles, you know. But Mama has that kind of horn, goes back like that. So anyway, let me see here. We talked about the girls haven't been weaned. They're in Chucky's stall, which is going to be a goat stall once he's gone. So that's working out okay. I'm not too sure about what Chucky thinks about having a bunch of whiny little girls in the pen with him, but it is what it is. He may not want to go back tomorrow. And this living room is coming along nicely. Hopefully it'll be finished within a couple of days with new furniture and pictures on the walls and everything. And that'll make one or two other boxes that will be empty, which will be wonderful. And then from there, we've got the watering system for the livestock to get finished, line buried and hooked up properly and all that, and the tank being positioned properly and level so that I don't have ducks getting into it. That's part of the reason why I think I ran out of water, is because the ducks were getting in the water trough and they were splashing it out, making it dirty, and so I'd have to change it, and it's like, because it was just foul. It's like, so I think that's why we ran out of water, is because of the ducks. So I'm going to fix it so that the water trough is a little bit higher. The goats should still be able to reach it if they need to, and it'll be more level. So I think I'll have a better system. And then the line will be buried. It'll be insulated at the water trough, and it'll be insulated at the tank. Okay, so that's that project. But we also have the pump house and the plumbing for the kitchen. So those two things, the livestock plumbing and my plumbing, so I can have running water in the house. Those are the two things that are next up. Okay. Because I can't do anything about the goat stall until after Chucky's gone, and that's on the 28th of October. So, it is what it is. And I got to get a guy here to do fence. That's all there is to it. I got it. So he doesn't know it yet, but he's going to be paying for it because it's got to get done. Okay. Part of my problem is my infrastructure is not finished. Okay. And we wanted to go to a class to do with small ruminants and stuff associated with that. And I really wanted to go, but it's like an hour and a half away. And I wouldn't be getting back until after feeding time. And it's like, it's just, I just could not figure out how I could possibly make it work. Okay. If I had my infrastructure finished and I at least had that one pen, the one area fenced in, then I would be able to go. Not only that, but after this morning, what I went through this morning with my young kids and Billy, and having to rush to get that straightened up. That should have been taken care of. That should have been done, before I let him out. And it wasn't. So I have to get my infrastructure done. I mean, I almost didn't make it to church this morning, and it's like, my husband was really upset about that. But it's like, it is what it is, So I got to get it. I got to get the infrastructure done. It doesn't have to be elaborate. I'm not talking about fencing the whole property. I just strategic areas so that I can control livestock and have them penned up and safe. So, well, speaking of penned up and safe, I need to go check on some kids because they're getting a little bit louder, a little bit more boisterous. I think because mommies have come back and they want mommies. So, but I need to get water to Honey because she's out of water. They haven't touched the water in Chucky's stall, so I was just down there looking at it. But I do have to take care of Honey, make sure she has water. I got to what I'm doing, because the water comes out so slow from the tank I have up here down the hill. It's really low pressure and it comes out really slow. I have it going into a small barrel that I have that has a lid. It's actually a feed barrel, but it's working out very nicely where it holds enough water where I can get water out, dip it out with a bucket, and fill the other buckets that I'm using for their water. That's working out well. While I'm doing that, the water's running into that barrel, and when it's full, I just put the lid on it so I can keep the ducks out of it, so they're not wasting water. There's water in other places on the property where the ducks and the chickens can get water. They can reach it and they can get it, but I don't need the ducks wasting water. Okay. And they'll get in that barrel if I don't put the lid on it, and they will just splash it out and foul it and waste it. So right now, I can't afford for them to do that. So this is something you got to think about with the rainwater catchment system is how you're going to manage the water, because you do have to manage it to a point. So, and with this dry spell that we've been at, I didn't have anything replenishing it. We've got supposedly rain coming in on the 13th. Hopefully we'll get some water. We'll fill up this tank here because it's probably at least half empty now. So I'm just hoping I have enough. Like I said, I do have the other tank that is not hooked up for a hose that I can take the adapter off of this one and put it on that one if I have to. So it's not like it's just a bother. It's not really a disaster or anything like that, but this is getting low on water. So anyway, I got to go and check on the kids and get water to Honey. Because she's not the only one that drinks it. The goats drink it too when they're out. So anyway, I will talk at y'all later. Have a good one. And hopefully the next thing you see will be a finished living room. And then we move on to other projects. So, this is Mom H with Honey Hollow Homestead. I'll see y'all later.